Sagittarius, have you ever felt like every time life knocks you down, you don't just get back up, you rise higher, stronger, fiercer, like something ancient and divine is lifting you? Have you ever sat alone, after heartbreak, betrayal, confusion, and felt, not broken, but sharpened, as if the universe whispered, that was not to destroy you, that was to awaken you? You see, the pain you've endured, the people who misunderstood you, the doors that closed without reason, the moments that left you breathless in silence, they were never random. Because Sagittarius, you are not just another soul in this world. You are fire with a mission, a cosmic flame wrapped in human skin. There is something about you wild, untamable, radiant, that the world both fears and secretly envies. You carry a frequency that speaks not to the logic of the mind, but to the truth buried deep in people's hearts. And that truth, it can be terrifying to those who are not ready to face it. That's why they tried to dim your light. That's why they walked away. That's why life has never allowed you to settle for less than your destiny. But what they didn't know is this: Sagittarius is protected, because your soul wasn't sent here to play small, to shrink, or to be tamed. You were sent here to pierce illusions with your words, to spark revolutions with your truth, to ignite forgotten dreams in others with the fire you carry inside. And every time someone tries to bury that light, the universe responds. It responds not with vengeance, but with elevation. It takes the very ashes of your pain and reshapes them into wings. So if you're watching this and you've ever felt that strange cosmic force pulling you back onto your feet when you thought you couldn't go on, that was not your imagination. That was alignment. That was destiny. And today, you and I are going to walk into it together. Because in this video, I'm going to reveal 5 hidden truths about Sagittarius that will shift how you see yourself forever. Truths that live not in books, not in daily horoscopes, but in the sacred language of stars, karma, divine timing, and soul contracts. So, take a deep breath. Let the noise of the world fade. And listen, not just with your ears, but with the part of you that has always known you're here for something bigger. This is your moment. This message has found you for a reason. If your soul is already stirring, if you feel this deep, unexplainable yes vibrating in your chest, then pause for just a second. Hit the like button not for me, but as a signal to the universe that you are open to receive. Subscribe so we never lose this cosmic thread between us. And drop a comment below with these words: I carry the fire of truth. Because if you're still here, still listening, you're not just another Sagittarius. You are the awakener, the archer, the light bringer. And this is not just a video, this is a calling. Now, are you ready to discover what the universe has been trying to tell you all along? Then let's begin with the first sacred truth, the one that's been hidden inside your fire since the day you were born. People often say Sagittarius forgets easily, that you're always chasing the next thrill, the next adventure, the next big idea. They think you move on too quickly, that your laughter means healing, that your energy is untouched. But they don't know the truth, because Sagittarius doesn't forget. You don't carry wounds like others do. You carry them like constellations mapped across your soul, like ancient truths, glowing just beneath the surface. You don't revisit them to relive the pain. You return to them to study the meaning, to understand what they taught you about people, about love, about your own path through this wild, burning life. You don't remember because you're weak. You remember because you're on a mission. And every heartbreak, every betrayal, every time someone promised you the world and left you standing in silence, that wasn't just emotional pain. It was a violation of your sacred trust. Because Sagittarius doesn't give blindly. You give fully. And not just your time or attention. You give your belief. You give your truth. You give the vision that lives in your soul, the one that says, we could fly if we wanted to. You give people a glimpse of what it feels like to be limitless. And when they betray that, when they lie, or manipulate, or abandon you. It's not just a personal hurt. It's a cosmic fracture, a break in the frequency of something divine. Because Sagittarius was never here just to love you, was sent to awaken. And anyone who tries to dim that fire, the universe sees it. The universe records it. Not for punishment, but for alignment. Because here's the truth most people miss. The universe does not let Sagittarius stay in places that do not honor your soul. So sometimes it removes people without warning. Sometimes it closes doors so fast it stuns you. Sometimes you feel like everything is falling apart, when in truth, everything is falling into place. Those moments when your heart cracked wide open, when you stood in the ruins of a dream you once believed in, when the ones you trusted most suddenly felt like strangers. That wasn't you being rejected. That was you being redirected. Because your soul signed a contract long before you were born, a vow to never be trapped, to never be silenced, to never give your light to those who do not know how to carry it. So yes, you remember. You remember every betrayal, every sharp word, every moment someone underestimated your worth, but not to build walls, not to seek revenge. You remember to recognize the signs. You remember to choose differently next time. You remember because you know deep down your truth is worth protecting. And those memories, they're not scars. They're signals. They're sacred tattoos from past lives reminding you. You have been through fire before, and you rose every time, and you will rise again. You see, Sagittarius, your pain was never wasted. It was never pointless. It was purification. It was the burning away of illusions so that only what is real could remain. Because you, more than any other sign, were born to seek the real, the honest, the holy, the vast, and untamed. You were not meant to settle for small love, shallow purpose, half-truths. So when someone lies to you, it doesn't just break your heart. It disrupts the very compass of your spirit. It shakes the pillars of your belief. And that's why it hurts so deeply. Because for Sagittarius, trust is not optional, it is sacred. And when that trust is shattered, the universe doesn't let it slide. It doesn't rush in with revenge. It simply begins the process of clearing the path, removing distractions, ending contracts, shifting timelines. It says, "This soul has a bigger path, and I will not allow anything to keep them small." So when someone loses you, Sagittarius, when they lose access to your heart, your fire, your wild belief in their potential, it's not just a breakup, it's a fall from grace. And yes, they'll miss you. They'll see you rising not in spite of the pain, but because of it. And they'll realize you didn't just love them, you showed them what was possible. You believed when no one else did. You gave them a glimpse of what it feels like to be fully seen. And now that feeling is gone, because Sagittarius remembers. Not to hold on, but to know exactly when it's time to let go and never return. So if you're here, watching this, and your soul is stirring, if your body knows these words before your mind even processes them, then hear me now. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not foolish for believing. You are a fire that remembers, a truth seeker shaped by the stars, and the universe has never not once stopped protecting you. So if this resonates, let the world know. Drop a comment below. I carry the fire of truth. Hit like if you've ever felt your spirit rising from ashes others thought would bury you. And subscribe, because this is only the beginning. The universe has so much more to reveal to you. Are you ready for the next truth? Then let's keep going, because the next chapter in your soul's journey is already calling your name. And then there comes a moment when Sagittarius simply walks away. No fight, no drama, no final words, just silence. But don't mistake that silence for indifference. Don't you dare, because when a Sagittarius leaves, it's never out of coldness. It's because something sacred inside them has been crossed, something invisible, but deeply, irreversibly real. You see, Sagittarius doesn't leave because they stop feeling. They leave because they've been feeling too much, for too long. in a place that no longer breathes with them. They leave because their soul starts to ache in quiet ways no one else sees, and their light begins to flicker beneath the weight of trying to stay small in a space not meant for their magnitude. For Sagittarius, freedom is not a preference. It's not a luxury. It's not a phase. It is a spiritual law, a non-negotiable energy encoded into the very architecture of their soul. You can't love them and try to cage them. You can't call it connection if it demands their compromise. Where there is no truth, Sagittarius cannot stay. Where there is no honesty, no space, no faith, their soul begins to wither. Not immediately, not obviously, but slowly, like fire starved of air. At first, they'll try. They'll adapt. They'll tell themselves, it's okay, that maybe they're just overreacting. That maybe love is supposed to feel like this, a little smaller, a little quieter, a little more controlled. But deep inside, the wild part of them, the eternal wanderer, the philosopher, the seeker of light begins to whisper louder each day. This is not it. This is not where you thrive. This is not truth. And they can't ignore that voice forever. Because for Sagittarius, to ignore that voice is to die a little every day. They can handle heartbreak, but what they cannot handle is living a life that betrays their essence. They can forgive a mistake, but they cannot stay in a place that keeps asking them to be anything less than free. And so, one day, without explanation, without apology, they leave. Not because they are cruel, but because they have chosen truth. Because staying would mean killing the very light they were born to carry. And those who don't understand this, who confuse their departure with fear or avoidance, they never truly saw them. Because Sagittarius doesn't fear commitment. What they fear is the death of spirit. They don't run from love. They run from cages, no matter how beautifully disguised. True love to them isn't about control or possession. It's not about constantly proving loyalty or playing games. It's about wide open skies. It's about being chosen, not because someone needs them, but because someone sees their fire and wants to dance in it, not extinguish it. And if that's not what they're given, the universe will intervene. Make no mistake, the universe does not allow Sagittarius to remain in relationships, jobs, environments, or belief systems that shrink them. It will start to close doors, people will fade, situations will unravel, the discomfort will grow louder, until the only option left is flight. Not escape, flight, like the final stretch of an arrow that has been pulled back too long. And when they go, the space they leave behind becomes deafening. Not because of their absence, but because of what it carried: the spark, the vision, the wild hope that used to fill the room. Their presence is never just physical. It's energetic. It's radiant. And once it's gone, everything feels dimmer. But here's what people don't understand. When Sagittarius lets go, it's not a decision. It's a return to self, a return to breath, a return to fire. And that decision echoes through the universe like a prayer. I will no longer betray my light for anyone. I will no longer confuse love with containment. I will no longer call it loyalty when it costs me my soul. So if you've ever felt misunderstood for choosing yourself, if you've ever been made to feel guilty for needing space, for dreaming big, for leaving something that didn't fit anymore, this is your confirmation. You did the right thing. You were not being selfish. You were being sacred. You weren't running away. You were returning home to yourself. Because nothing good can grow in a space where your light is not welcome. And if you're still in a place where your spirit feels like it's whispering, go listen. Don't wait for the pain to scream. Sagittarius was not born to break. You were born to burn through illusion and light up the darkness for others to follow. You are the arrow. You are the blaze. You are the truth on fire. And love, real love, will never ask you to put that fire out. So if these words find you in a moment of hesitation, if your heart is stirring with recognition, then let this be your sign. Like this video to claim your freedom. Subscribe to keep walking this journey one step closer to the expansive divine life you came here to live. And drop a comment that seals this vow between you and the universe. I will never sacrifice my light again. Because you don't belong in cages, Sagittarius. You belong to the stars. And the universe will never stop reminding you of that. There's something about the way Sagittarius loves that can't be imitated. It isn't textbook. It isn't scripted. It isn't rehearsed or decorated with grand gestures meant to impress. It's real, raw, striking in its simplicity. It comes from a place so deep that most people never even touch it in themselves, let alone receive it from someone else. When a Sagittarius loves you, they don't love the image of who you are. They love the truth of you. Even the parts you hide, even the potential you haven't yet dared to believe in. You see, Sagittarius doesn't love out of convenience. They don't fall into someone's arms because it's safe or expected. They fall when their soul recognizes something. A spark, a vision, a possibility so big, it scares them. They fall for potential, for light, for that unspoken frequency between two spirits that says, we could become something extraordinary if we dare. And when they give that love, oh, they give it with the fire of 1,000 suns. Not in endless poems or flowers or sweet nothings, but in the way they see you completely, fearlessly. They will challenge you. They will inspire you. They will open doors inside you that you didn't even know were locked. They will speak to the version of you that's been waiting to be awakened. And suddenly, you'll feel alive in a way that makes everything before them feel like a dream you once had and forgot. Sagittarius love is not comfortable, it's catalytic. They don't love to keep you still. They love to get you moving, to make you question everything you thought you knew about love, life, and yourself. They'll believe in you when you don't. They'll hand you a mirror, not to show you how you look, but to show you who you truly are. That's the power of their love. It's transformational. And because of that, it is not for the faint of heart. It's why, when that love is dismissed, exploited, or underestimated, the cost is not just heartbreak, it's spiritual loss. Because Sagittarius doesn't give that kind of love to just anyone. Their affection may be playful, their flirtation may be casual. But when they truly love, when they let you inside the sacred temple of their heart, it is something divine. It is holy ground. And if you walk in carelessly, if you take without giving, if you promise and don't follow through, the universe does not stay silent. The universe withdraws that blessing, not to punish you, but because you weren't ready. And when you lose the love of a Sagittarius, you don't just lose affection. You lose vision. You lose fire. You lose the light that made you believe you could fly, and suddenly, everything feels a little dimmer, a little smaller, a little hollow. And it doesn't hit all at once. No, the ache creeps in slowly. Maybe the day you achieve something and realize there's no one to cheer you with wild, unfiltered joy. Maybe the night when life feels heavy and you find yourself reaching for someone who used to feel like home, only to remember they're not there anymore. That light is gone. That warmth is gone. And you realize they weren't like the others. No one else has ever made you feel seen quite like that. No one else pushed you to rise the way they did, not with pressure, but with pure belief. That's the thing about Sagittarius. They don't love you because you've arrived. They love you because of where you could go. And when they're gone, the path forward starts to blur. And if you're Sagittarius, you know what this feels like too. That moment when you realize someone never valued what you gave. When they treated your truth like a game. When they rejected the very essence of your love, thinking they could replace it with something more familiar, more normal, more easy to control. But they'll learn. The universe makes sure of that. Because when someone throws away the love of a Sagittarius, they don't get it back. That door doesn't reopen. That fire doesn't relight in the same way. That soul doesn't return to the same place it once trusted. Not out of bitterness, but out of growth. Sagittarius doesn't hold grudges. They simply evolve. Quietly, magnificently, irreversibly. And when they move on, they take with them the light they once poured into someone else's world. That light doesn't disappear. It just finds a new home, a new purpose, a new soul who's ready to honor it. So, if you're watching this, and you've ever lost a Sagittarius, ask yourself, what did you really lose? And if you're Sagittarius, and you've ever questioned whether your love was too intense, too honest, too much, please hear this. It wasn't. It was exactly right. It was just given to someone who wasn't ready to receive it. And now it's your time to reclaim it. For yourself, for the world, for the one who will know how to carry it with care. If this spoke to something deep inside you, like this video, so the universe knows you're ready to be loved the way your soul deserves. Subscribe so you never miss another message meant just for you. And in the comments, drop this truth like an arrow. My love is sacred, and I give it only to those who see its worth. Because Sagittarius, your love is not a fire to warm the ungrateful. It is the torch of truth, and the ones who dare to walk beside it will never be the same. You see, Sagittarius doesn't stay broken for long. They don't dwell endlessly in the shadows. They don't become the wound. They become the rebirth. One day, they simply vanish. Not physically, maybe, but energetically. They pull back into themselves, like a wildfire shrinking into embers, like a phoenix folding its wings into the ash. And the world thinks, they're gone, but they're not. They're becoming. In the quiet, in the stillness, in the sacred solitude that so many fear, that's where Sagittarius begins again. No announcements, no grand displays, just a subtle silence, a closing of doors, a deep exhale. And then, something magical happens. They return, but not as the version that left. They return as something more. Brighter, bolder, wiser, stronger. They return like the horizon at sunrise, not asking for permission, not seeking validation, just rising. Because that's what they were always meant to do. Sagittarius doesn't seek revenge. They don't carry grudges like swords. They don't waste their time proving themselves to those who could never truly see them. Their success, their glow, their renewed presence, that becomes the answer. That becomes the thunderous reply to every betrayal, every dismissal, every moment someone looked at their open heart and turned away. They don't say, "Look at me now." They simply become the light they were born to be. And let that light do all the talking. And for those who once hurt them, this is the most humbling thing of all, to stand in the distance and watch the Sagittarius they once had rise into a version so radiant, so evolved, so untouchable, that they can no longer access them, not even with apologies, not even with regret, because Sagittarius doesn't circle back to what broke them. They bless it, they learn from it, and then they outgrow it. This is not a comeback. This is not a second chance. This is a soul that has passed through fire and come out reforged. This is an upgrade born from ash, silence, and soul alchemy. This is evolution, and it's one of the most sacred traits of Sagittarius. The ability to turn pain into power. Not by denying the pain, but by walking through it with such raw honesty that it becomes a forge. And what emerges from that forge is unstoppable. They were wild before, but now they're wise. They were passionate before, but now they're purposeful. They were generous before, but now they're discerning. This is what happens when Sagittarius rises. They don't just reclaim their path, they rewrite it. And the universe, it watches with reverence. Because this was always the plan. Not to break them, but to initiate them. Initiation through fire, through loss, through quiet awakenings. And now, they become the guide, the light, the storm, and the stillness. So if you've ever seen a Sagittarius fall, know that it is never the end of their story. It is a plot twist, a pause, a breath between chapters. And when they return, and they always do, it's never in the same form. They rise with clarity, with purpose, with new boundaries and sharper vision. And they no longer ask, "Will you accept me?" Because now they know. They don't need to be accepted. They just need to be true. And if you're Sagittarius, if this is you, if you're in the middle of the silence, the falling away, the vanishing, hold on, your light is not gone. It is gathering. And the moment will come when it bursts forth again, not to prove anything, but because the world needs that fire, the one that only you carry. If you've ever been doubted, dismissed, or broken down, but deep inside, something still stirs, something still burns, let this be your sign. You are not finished. You are not lost. You are becoming. And when you return, your radiance will be so undeniable that those who once overlooked you will have no choice but to look again, but this time from afar. So like this video if you've ever risen when others thought you were done. Subscribe if your soul is still evolving, because we're not finished, not even close. And in the comments, leave this truth as a declaration. I rise brighter every time. Every time. Als of sees a. The to the 6D destined. Als a. The T's of a. Of herb. Of orb. To the 6D destined. Of orb. Because you are Sagittarius, the wild soul, the eternal flame, and you were never meant to stay in the ashes. You were meant to light the way. The archer never shoots blindly. That's what people don't understand about Sagittarius. Every arrow released, every decision, every step away, every word left unspoken carries purpose, carries clarity, carries karma. Because Sagittarius is not just a symbol of movement. Sagittarius is a cosmic compass, and the arrows they fire aren't just choices, they're messages, they're frequencies. They are soul-aligned actions that ripple through time, through space, through the lives of everyone they've ever touched. You see, when someone hurts a Sagittarius, they don't just hurt a person, they disrupt a sacred current, a current of truth, of freedom, of expansion. And when that disruption happens, the universe listens. Not in rage, not in fury, but in balance. Because karma doesn't always arrive loudly. It doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't always strike back with vengeance. But when it comes exactly on time. And it never misses, just like the arrow. That's the essence of Sagittarius energy. Precision. Not just in thought, but in impact. You may think they've forgotten, that they've let it go, that their silence means the lesson has passed. But silence is never the end of the story with Sagittarius. It's just the space where karma gathers. When someone betrays them, lies to them, belittles their love, mocks their vision, they may walk away with a smile. They may offer no final words. But the universe heard the lie. The universe witnessed the dismissal. The universe felt the fracture in the truth. And it begins to move. Slowly, silently, then suddenly with a force that feels fated. That's why Sagittarius never needs revenge. They never need to prove a thing. Because their absence speaks louder than any retaliation. Their departure, that void left behind, becomes the echo that haunts, the weight that lingers, the question that never truly finds an answer. Why did I lose them? Why? Why? Oh, that I. Renola, Renola, Renola. That I. And the answer is always the same. Because you weren't ready to hold the light they brought into your life. You see, Sagittarius isn't just a person you date, or a friend you meet, or a dreamer you once knew. They are a messenger of truth. A reminder from the universe that honesty still exists. That love can still be wild and pure. That freedom is sacred. And compromise should never cost the soul. So when someone chooses to betray that, They don't just lose a person, they lose the opportunity to evolve alongside a guide, a prophet, a spark. And that loss, that emptiness, that strange, unshakable feeling that something meaningful slipped through their fingers, that is karma, because Sagittarius came into their life for a reason: to awaken, to elevate, to ignite, and when they're gone, the dullness sets in. Relationships feel empty. Success feels hollow. Life continues, but it's quieter, flatter, missing something that once made it all feel possible. And Sagittarius? They keep moving, not out of coldness, but out of purpose. Because the archer is always aimed forward, toward truth, toward growth, toward something more. And the arrow they fired by walking away, it doesn't need to circle back. It already did its work. It already struck where it needed to, in the heart, in the soul, in the hidden place where the lesson now lives. This is the quiet justice of the universe. No courtroom, no verdict, just the slow unfolding of consequence. The subtle realization that truth cannot be betrayed without cost. And Sagittarius, whether they know it or not, is often the vessel through which that truth is delivered. So, if you've ever lost a Sagittarius, ask yourself what truth you refused to face when they were trying to show it to you. And if you are Sagittarius, if you've ever been made to feel too intense, too honest, too free, remember, you are not the problem. You are the mirror. And some people, they just weren't ready to see themselves. But that's not your burden to carry. Your mission is not to chase, not to convince, not to hold on to what the universe is trying to release. Your mission is to keep aiming forward, to keep walking in truth, to keep embodying the fire and freedom you came here to express. Because when Sagittarius lives in alignment, the entire universe aligns with them. So, if you're still here, if this truth rings deep and clear inside your bones, then this is your sign. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. And nothing that happened to you was in vain. Like this video to honor the fire within you. Subscribe if you're walking this journey with your head held high. And drop this line in the comments to let the universe know you're ready for more. I trust the arrow. I trust the truth. I trust the timing. Because you, Sagittarius, were never meant to chase approval. You were meant to embody cosmic justice just by being who you are. Sagittarius, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to shrink your light to make others comfortable. You don't have to beg to be understood. All you have to do is live in your truth, carry your flame, and walk forward with the unshakable knowing that the universe has always and will always take care of the rest. Because you weren't born to blend in. You weren't born to be tamed. You were born to light fires, to open roads, to pierce illusions with every word, every choice, every truth you dare to stand in. You were born to aim arrows into the future, not just for yourself, but for others still afraid to believe in their own potential. And if this message found you at the exact moment you needed it, that's not coincidence. That's alignment. That's your soul remembering who you really are. That's the universe whispering through every breath of this video. It's time. Time to return to yourself. Time to rise. Time to live as the force of light and purpose you've always carried inside. You may have been misunderstood. You may have been doubted, silenced, betrayed. But none of that can touch the core of who you are. Because Sagittarius does not stay broken. You remember what hurt you, but you're not defined by it. You honor your past, but you don't live in it. You burn, but you never burn out, because your fire isn't just passion, it's prophecy. Your freedom isn't a preference, it's sacred. Your love isn't ordinary, it's transformative. And your silence after pain isn't weakness. It's the echo before a powerful return. When people wrong you, you don't chase them. You don't scream. You rise. And your rising becomes the karma. Your absence becomes the teacher. Your evolution becomes the justice. Because you are the archer. And every time someone underestimates you, the arrow sharpens. And every time someone tries to contain you, the bow pulls back further. And when it releases, you fly. Further than they ever imagined, higher than they could reach, brighter than they can ignore. So remember these 5 sacred truths. You remember deeply, but you are never held hostage by memory. Your soul demands freedom, because cages were never meant for wild light. You love with truth, not performance, and your love awakens others, whether they're ready for it or not. When you fall, you don't crumble. You transform. You disappear into stillness and return upgraded, ascended, untouchable. And finally, when the world thinks it can break your spirit without consequence, karma listens. It waits. And it always delivers not through your revenge, but through your becoming. So if this journey has stirred something within you, if your heart whispered yes as these words unfolded, then now is the time to claim it. Like this video not just for me, but as a sign to the universe that you are ready. Subscribe so we never lose this soul-to-soul connection. And comment below, boldly, powerfully, like a sacred promise. I carry the divine fire of Sagittarius, because you do. And no one, not the past, not betrayal, not silence, no one can take that from you. This is not the end of your story. It's only the beginning. And in the next video, the universe will speak again, maybe softer this time, maybe louder, but it will come, just for you. Until then, live boldly, love honestly, walk freely, and never forget, you were born to be the light that breaks through darkness.